everyone, welcome back to Spoiler Alert. I am your host, Sean. I'm so excited for this episode. Not only joining me, my amazing co-host, Alana, but we have some special guests from the game team. Alana, how's it going?
Great. I'm so happy to be here as usual. And like you said, it's always a little bit more exciting when we have guests on. I love working with you, Sean, but it's fun when we have some new faces in the team, which we definitely have today. So yeah, let's kick it off. Let's see who's coming and what's coming to this update.
Yeah, we've got a big one. And you know what? I'm not going to take offense that you're tired of just me and you hanging out. That's fine. I get it. We need to switch it up. All right. No, super exciting update. So this update brings us new rides, new wraps, and a new rival, which we were really excited to get into. So there's an uninvited guest coming to the Black Ridge Racing Party. Who's the mystery gate crasher, do you ask? Find out, and you can earn the McLaren Artra.
Yes, so we are going to find out very soon with our guests coming on. But before we get there, you can also relive a Black Ridge legend in the latest breakout event and get the BMW M3 G80 along the way.
That's right. And new challenges are awaiting our players in an all-new proving grounds. You can show them what you got and earn the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. Plus, we've got a lot of new events that are being added to the vault, which is really exciting. There's plenty of stories and bounties for our players to take on.
Yes, so exciting. And we always see our players asking for more events in the vault. So keen to get that into the game for them. And also we are doing something a little bit special. We know that there's a lot of things happening in the world at the moment, and climate crisis definitely is on our minds. So in game, you can catch some air and get an exclusive fresh air wrap for Earth Day. And this wrap in particular is really cool. The detail into it. And when you're in the mod shop, you can have a look around. But there's this gorilla that has a face mask that's on it, and like the iconography is just really different to what we've done before, and has a really powerful meaning behind it as well.
Yeah, that's right. This is an awesome wrap, and this is kind of a collaboration between a couple people in the studio, which is really awesome. And I know some players are going to ask. And we had some people on the game team asking, hey, we're a car racing game. Should we be like celebrating Earth Day and putting this forward? And you know what? I think the thing to keep in mind is, we all have cars. We're all doing what we can. I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. Obviously, there's a lot that's been going on the last few years, and as we look toward Earth Day and the kind of the climate stuff that's going on, this is kind of just a way for us to say, hey, yes, this is on our mind. We're thinking about it. It's a really cool wrap. The other thing to think about is, we're a fantasy car game. No actual cars are being made and polluting the laneways of the world. So, we're also we're a mobile game. So, unlike our good friends on the HD side, we don't have any packaging or discs or anything that go into a landfill. So, we're as environmentally friendly as you can get with a video game. But anyway, look, the thing is, go in, check this thing out. It's super cool. It's super awesome. Let's celebrate Earth Day in a big way. We've got two special guests who are joining us, and really excited for this. We have Dana, who is one of our game designers. She's been working with us. I've never met her in person. I look forward to the day we can say hey to each other face to face. So she's going to be joining us. Also, we've got Darren, who is one of our artists. You guys who have been watching Spoiler Alert are probably familiar with Darren. He's joined us a few times. Darren, Dana, thank you so much for coming onto the show.
Hey guys, thanks. Sorry.
No, it's all right. Well, okay, hey, this is what we do here on Spoiler Alert. All good.
All right. Should I just go into my bit? Or?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Okay.
Say a little bit about yourself.
All right. Hey guys, thanks for having me. So I'm a game designer on NFSNL, which means I'm one of the people who design and implement new content in the game, like cars and special events. I help write the stories and plan future updates.
Cool. And hello, thanks for having me back on. Always nice to be here. Sorry, gonna have to excuse my voice. I've had a bit of a cold for a couple of weeks. So my role on Need for Speed No Limits is as a 2D artist. I work on wraps, which are the graphics on the cars, which give them slightly different personalities, a bit of the promo art, which is pushed out to social media and is also seen in-game in the splash screens, and for example, and character art, which I collaborated with Dana on this time round.
Yeah, that's something that we're really excited to chat with you both today. We have a new character coming to the game. So Dana, can you tell us a little bit more about the story and how you came up with the events that are going to kick off this new story arc that we've all been waiting for?
Sure. So the story of Gatecrasher takes place in what's considered a moment of peace in the city of Blackridge, at least compared to what's usually happening there. Then suddenly we have this new person crashing into the scene, directly challenging the player and the other elite racers in Blackridge. And that new character is a young woman called Ronnie. The best way I can describe Ronnie is as a perfectionist rebel. And it's a bit hard to be a perfect rebel since that's sort of a paradox. So it's a lot of fun to see how she reacts to things and the way she pushes the adventure in interesting directions. She makes this really ungraceful entry, but she's got this overwhelming willpower that she pushes through with. Ronnie very much has a background that doesn't match up with the underground, but she's got the heart and also the stubbornness to try and prove herself anyways. Alongside the player and Ronnie, this event also has a small cast of really fun personalities that will be great to see bounce off each other. Overall, I'm really excited for people to play it and meet Ronnie, and maybe she'll be showing up in some pretty exciting new upcoming adventures.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of teasing going on in that, and for our players out there, I've seen like Dana has come on. I've seen like her kind of like work out like these story arcs and these things that are going to be coming out for updates and updates and updates in the future, which is really exciting. So this is actually really cool because it kicks off a lot of that. It's very, very awesome time to come in. I'm going to hop over to Darren. So Darren, when you're designing this character, when you're working on this with Dana, you kind of worked in some physical characteristics, not only to make her stand out, from a design point of view and give her that kind of realistic flair, but you also wanted to draw attention to a skin condition that maybe doesn't get a lot of airtime, a lot of play, but it does affect a lot of people. And, I think that's really interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I might go into a bit of background with how working with Dana was as well. Yeah, so this is the first time I've been working with Dana on a character. It's a great experience. Dana's a great writer and designer, really collaborative, which is how I love to work. She comes up with a very firm idea of who the character is, but visually it's quite nebulous. We don't have a sort of set specific style yet, so that gives me a bit of room to bring a bit of artistic flair to the table. As we're all working from home, we kind of collaborate across a digital whiteboard. I grabbed the description of the character Ronnie from Dana, which has a backstory and descriptive words, things like passionate, perfectionist, rebel, and then I kind of go away and compile some references from various places, put them all over this whiteboard, and then we'll back and forth until we feel that we're at a good place. So I chose to design Ronnie with vitiligo, with Dana's blessing, which is a skin pigmentation condition where the patches of the skin turn pale in comparison to the surrounding areas, and it can also affect the color of your hair as well. There's a hereditary component to it, but it can't be transmitted to other people. It doesn't affect their physical health in any way, though it can certainly have a bit of an impact on people's mental health, and that stems from how other people might treat someone with the condition. It doesn't really get much airtime in popular media, so people who have it are often stigmatized because people don't know, what it is. So through ignorance, and that's pretty, and it's a pretty common thing as well. Like I think in Australia, there's something like 500,000 people per year diagnosed with some aspect of that, and I think it sucks when people are treated like that because it makes them feel like an outsider. So from the perspective of being a bit more of an inclusive title, being able to bring a bit of exposure to vitiligo through Need for Speed brand and the Ronnie character helps dispel a little bit of that stigmatization, which I think is a nice thing to do.
Yeah, it's really great. And thanks for sharing that. At first glance, I guess, when we were looking at the art, you couldn't really tell like the shading and stuff, but you can definitely see it coming out, and it's really great to see that representation in the game. And as you said, like in the modern media, it's not exposed quite much, but we are seeing it a lot more. We were talking about we're seeing more models in major campaigns and billboards on commercials and stuff. and now ourselves bringing it to our game as well, which is really great. So it's good to see that it is getting a little bit more exposure, and yeah, it's part of who people are. So it's great to see that it's part of this character, and it's in our game as well. So thank you for bringing that, and continuing on with the characters and their personalities, as we were talking about before. When you are working on a character, do you start with their personality and then you work to bring through that physical look, or do you start with a design and then fill in what kind of personality they have after that?
So we do definitely start off with the personality first, just sort of a short written character bio with some notes for Darren to play around with. This is mainly just because characters need to bring specific voices or roles to the story. So starting off with that solid written foundation really helps find that character's place in such a big cast of characters. Also, since Ronnie has such a strong personality with her hot-headedness and rebellion, it really affects what path the story follows and how she influenced it. This means it takes a good bit of pre-planning to make a story that can make her really shine, and how she can shape later stories. I think it does really come together though once Darren starts putting his ideas down, and that's where we really found some fun facets for her personality. Like originally I was thinking she'd be this 90s grunge kind of looking kid, but I wasn't really sure how that was going to clash with the sleeker parts of her personality. Then Darren put together these great images of like way more modernized street clothing, which I think balances the visuals and her personality a lot better. It also makes her feel a bit more put together, which is great as well, and the addition of the vitiligo was great.
So I felt the vitiligo was a condition that could be certainly incorporated into Ronnie's character, with all her sort of descriptive words. Because when you feel like a bit of an outsider through no fault of your own, I think it can, for certain people, sort of provide a really strong impetus to compensate or overcompensate for that. It's that feeling of, I'm going to show you what I can do. Which I felt could really help strengthen the perfectionist drive in Ronnie. It doesn't really play an overt role in the story. I think, kind of pulling back from there, my overarching goal for characters in a visual sense is to kind of, have a wide representation of people, to have people with differences as part of the fabric of the NL world, which is reflective of the real world, isn't it? In that it takes everyone to sort of create that population. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that is really interesting. And I think, as you're creating these characters, it's actually really amazing, like the amount of depth, like something like that gives someone. Because I think, in the real world, aren't we all trying to, compensate for, our perceived, shortcomings or imperfections, right? So I think that's really cool that, you two were able to kind of work together to create this character and bring that to life. So look, really exciting. This is such a great update. Thank you so much for the insights. I think our players are really going to love that. I loved hearing about it. I think it's really exciting. Huge update, everyone. I hope you enjoy it. Alana, Dana, Darren, thank you so much for joining me today on Spoiler Alert. Everyone else, we will see you at the starting line.